Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, thank you for staying with us throughout the entire program of tonight's Global Outlook. As you have seen from the panel that just has concluded, women are really at the heart of the Warsaw Security Forum. And I'm extremely excited to say that our annual Night of Freedom ceremony will be no different. I would like to, with this, officially open the Night of Freedom ceremony, the 2022 Night of Freedom ceremony, and yield the floor to the president of the Kazimierz Pulaski Foundation and my dear husband, Zbigniew Pisarski.
Thank you, Katarzyna. I think it's a lot about couples, even during this ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, honorable guests, good evening and welcome to the 2022 Warsaw Securities Forum Award ceremony to recognize this year's Night of Freedom. But before we'll start, in honor of Ukrainian brothers and sisters who are literally in the fight of their lives every moment of every day since February 24th particularly, I ask you all to stand up and join me in recognizing a moment of silence for those who lost their life fighting the Russian invaders, defending not only their freedom and their independence, but also ours. A moment of silence. Thank you. Please sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to represent Kazimierz Pulaski Foundation, a Polish think tank dedicated to foreign policy and security. Our work has never been so important, meaningful like these days. Memories of General Kazimierz Pulaski are extremely relevant today as well. Our patron, legendary Polish General Kazimierz Pulaski, was a fighter for freedom and democracy. And in 1768, he made a name for himself by forming a rebellion against the Russian influence into the Polish government. So resisting Russia is part of Pulaski Foundation DNA. The people of Ukraine are now fighting the Russian army on their own soil, defending not only their freedom and their independence, but also ours. Ukrainian people fight for whole Europe and whole free world. General Pulaski was devoted, above all, to three universal values: freedom, justice, and democracy. The preservation of our hard-won freedom requires constant vigilance, effort, and unfortunately, occasional sacrifice. But General Pulaski knew it too well. He sacrificed his life in a battle, defending our friends from the United States. This is why it is important that we recognize those who remind us that freedom and democracy are not given for granted, and that even today, people have to sacrifice their life for defending them. These exceptional individuals we recognize each year as the Night of Freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, the Night of Freedom Award will be awarded to 44 million of freedom fighters, the people of Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and pleasure to inform you that the award on behalf of the people of Ukraine will be received tonight by the First Lady of Ukraine, Madame Olena Zelenska. Madame Zelenska, please join me. Ladies and gentlemen, laudation speech will be delivered by the Prime Minister of Lithuania, Madame Ingrida Šimonytė. Madam Prime Minister, please join me here on the stage. The floor is yours.
Dear Madam Olena Zelenska, dear hosts and guests of this ceremony, друзі, брати і сестри українці. I was 14 in August 1989, when 2 million Lithuanians, Latvians, and Estonians joined hands in a human chain, the Baltic Way, to show the world that our nations would not rest until we regained freedom. Only half a year passed, and Lithuania restored its independence. 14 people sacrificed their lives for our freedom in January 1991, but the power of free people managed to stop Russian tanks. Lithuania restored and defended its independence at what now seems to be a relatively modest toll. As a teenager, I couldn't possibly comprehend all political, economic, social implication of those events, but I could grasp the magnitude of the moment. And I learned one thing very clearly. A country is only as strong as the resolve of its people to fight for their freedom and to defend their homeland. Many years have passed, but this conviction only grew stronger. And today, I can say with full certainty, Ukraine is invincible. Everyone who has eyes could have seen it during the Orange Revolution, when the people of Ukraine chose real democracy over silent obedience. They did not hesitate to demonstrate that no one ever would steal an election from them. Everyone who has eyes should have seen it during the Revolution of Dignity, when the people of Ukraine chose independence and European future over the return to the unloving arms of a Russian stepmother. Neither the winter frost nor bullets fired by their own authorities scared them away from claiming their right to decide the fate of their own country. Everyone who has eyes must have seen it when tens and thousands of men and women in Ukraine volunteered to defend their country against Russia's undeclared coward war in Donbass in 2014. Since 2014, this war turned Ukrainian people into a nation where hundreds of thousands fight and millions help, as President Zelensky aptly said. An army of 44 million who know what they fight for. Yet, a dictator in an isolated bunker and his paper generals refused to open their eyes and see. Their people could have looked and listened, but failed to really see and comprehend. And therefore, on the 24th of February, we woke up to a nightmare turned reality. All the civilized world grasped with outrage, but also with fear. of a war our generation had hoped we would never witness in real life, unfolding before our eyes against an independent, sovereign Ukraine, and soon possibly knocking at our own doors, of a dreadful thought that the dark times of brutal, vulturous dictators redrawing the state borders by sheer military force are back to our continent. Many have feared that Kyiv would indeed fall. If not in 3 days, then in a couple of weeks. Many have feared that people of Ukraine might not persevere, even with all our heartfelt support and all the help we could give. But the army of 44 million did not fear. Ukraine has shown to the whole world how the second mightiest army in the world chokes on the bravery and courage of freedom-loving people. Whoever chose to be blind can now see with full clarity that the people of Ukraine will be standing for every inch of their territory and for the right of each and every child of Ukraine to be raised in free and independent homeland. That Ukraine will win this war in the end, or else it will not be the end. Gradually, our fear paled against the admiration of the bravery and courage of the people of Ukraine, because it takes courage to take up arms and fight for your country, to give up safety abroad and return in millions to join brothers and sisters in arms in full and conscious readiness to sacrifice their life for their country. It takes courage to remain in the cities and villages, to provide medical care for the people in bomb shelters, to rescue victims from wreckage, to extinguish fire, to demine and repair destroyed bridges, roads, and houses, to deliver food and teach children under falling Russian missiles. It takes courage to fulfill everyday tasks such as farming, planting, and harvesting, risking being blown on a landmine every minute. It takes courage to keep the state functioning and reforms ongoing, even speeding them up to fast forward Ukraine for the path towards EU and NATO membership. It takes courage to stay as a walking target and lead the fight, refusing the offer for a ride and asking for weapons and ammunition instead, as your husband, Madame Zelenska, did. As did all the leadership of Ukraine. And it also takes courage to leave home to bring your children and elderly to safety, to travel thousands of kilometers, often under shelling, and to start a new, if temporary, life in a foreign country, submitting to the goodwill of complete strangers. Ukrainian bravery has lighted up the cities around the world in blue and yellow, reminding that it is thanks to Ukrainians that our people can still enjoy justice, security, human rights, and freedoms, that they can plan for the future. Ukrainian bravery is changing the world, making every country and every person decide on which side of the history they want to be. Ukrainian bravery makes our continent safer by giving push for political decisions long delayed due to lack of political will or ambition, such as cutting off energy dependence on Russia, increasing defense spending, or moving forward with the EU enlargement. I only pray that we in the West maintain a fraction of this courage to keep our unity and not tremble under Russia's constant bullying, energy blackmail, and nuclear saber rattling. Because it is our duty not to lose perspective at the sight of an energy bill or a prospect of falling support ratings, and keep helping Ukraine win this crucial war. I saw the power of Lithuanian people with my own eyes at the dawn of our independence, and I'm certain that people of Lithuania and my government, as well as any government they might choose in the future, will stand by the people of Ukraine until your victory and ours and beyond. Every victim of Russian aggression will be mourned. Everyone who have killed and tortured people of Ukraine in unspeakable ways will face not only God's tribunal, but also justice by an international tribunal. Every inch of Ukraine will be rebuilt better by the people of Ukraine and with the help of all governments of the civilized world and the people of goodwill around the globe. Until then, I'm honored and humbled to have this chance today applaud the bravery and courage of the people of Ukraine. I think it is only fitting and symbolic that you, Madame Zelenska, are receiving it on behalf of your nation. Because even though you might have not chosen this role, today you embody every woman of Ukraine who puts fear aside and does her own part in helping Ukraine win. And you carry this task with patience and grace I truly admire. This award might be one of the many the invincible people of Ukraine will rightfully receive. But the biggest award of all, I have no doubt, will be the one of their own making, the victory of good over evil, the victory of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini! Thank you.
The Knight of Freedom Award comes in the form of the exact replica of the General Kazimierz Pulaski saber.
Thank you. 2 words. Шановні засновники, організатори та члени капітули нагороди Лицаря Свободи. Пані та панове, моя промова буде дуже короткою. Я хочу сказати, що отримати цю нагороду – велика честь для мого народу, народу України. А для мене сьогодні велика честь тримати її в руках. Відчуття, що ти тримаєш відображення лицарського духу самої Польщі. Ви знаєте, ви надаєте нам духовну зброю кожного дня. Є один старий польський девіз, який знають всі українці, знали його задовго до війни. А зараз ці слова відображають цю сутність нашого братерства. За нашу і вашу свободу. Дякуємо, що ви з нами зараз. Знаємо, що ви будете з нами до кінця, а саме до нашої і вашої перемоги. Дякуємо.
Thank you so much, Madam Zelenska. Thank you also to all our Ukrainian friends here in the room for your fight, for your struggles, and for your conviction for democracy and freedom.